A few moments later.
The light and let's see. I'm just following my orders here. Have a game plan. He may have a game plan. He just hasn't shared it with me. But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a very, very, very alarming situation that happened after the G20 meeting in which Biden was holding a press conference in Hanoi, Vietnam. And during this press conference, Biden was cut off by the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, before Biden could finish responding to questions from reporters. Now, this happened after Biden declared that he's going to bed. Okay, he says, I'm going to bed. Okay, and then as he's trying to answer questions from reporters, Karine Jean-Pierre decided to end the press conference abruptly because it was clear that Biden was starting to lose it. Okay, and this is something that you're going to see a lot of from Biden. And the mainstream liberal media is going to start to cover it more, and they're going to start talking about it a lot now because polls are showing that Biden is on pace to lose to Trump in a general election. And part of the reason why is because it is clear that he is out of his mind and that he is too old to be president. So I want to go ahead and show you guys the video, and I want to make sure I play the whole video in all of the context so nobody can say I'm playing it out of context. He was asked a question about his relationship with President Xi of China and Ukraine. And I want to go ahead and play this video. It's a little long, okay? Bear with Biden as he tries to get through on this answer here. But I'm going to play the whole thing, and you guys can decide for yourself what the hell is going on. Take a look.
Thank you, Mr. President. I hope you didn't think that calling only on women would get you softballs tonight.
Oh, I know better than that.
Okay, well, let me start with President Xi.
If you sent me a softball, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I'd probably strike out even worse.
Well, let me ask you about, you've spent lots of time talking about all the time you spent with President Xi and the importance of leader-to-leader communication, yet you two haven't spoken in 10 months. And I just wonder, are you worried that this is destabilizing the U.S.-China relationship, and what are you going to do about it? And then, if I may, on Ukraine, sir, Kiev is upset that the G20 communique didn't name Russia as the aggressor. Have you managed to rally more support or sympathy across the G20, or is this emerging as a wedge issue with the Global South, and does that change your commitment to Ukraine?
It's not a wedge issue with the Global South. It's a wedge issue with Russia, which is present, and with China, which is present, has representation. And and by the way, I am, my team, my staff still meets with President Xi's people and his cabinet in effect. I met with his number 2 person here in India today. So it's not like there's a crisis if I don't personally speak to him. It'd be better if I did. But I think, look, this is not a criticism. It's an observation. He has his hands full right now. He has overwhelming unemployment with his youth. One of the major economic tenets of his plan isn't working at all right now. I'm not happy for him that, but it's not working. So he's trying to figure out, I suspect, I don't know, just like I would, trying to figure out what to do about the particular crisis they're having now. But I don't think it's a crisis relating to conflict between China and the United States. As a matter of fact, I think it's less likely to cause that kind of conflict. Anyway, I just think that there are other things on leaders' minds, and they respond to what's needed at the time. And look, nobody likes having celebrated international meetings if you don't know what you want at the meeting. If you don't have a game plan. He may have a game plan. He just hasn't shared it with me. But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed. Yeah, we talked about at the conference overall. We talked about stability. We talked about making sure that the third world, the southern hemisphere had access to change. It had access. It wasn't confrontational at all. He came up to me and said,
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, that is Biden essentially announcing that he's going to bed. I'm not sure why he said that, okay? It doesn't sound like that had anything to do with answering the woman's question, but he announces he's going to bed. And then after that, he starts rambling after the reporter asks him another question. And Karine Jean-Pierre proceeds to immediately end the press conference because she knew that Biden was going off the rails. Okay, so apparently there is a panic button. The White House has a panic button for Biden if he starts rambling and sounding incoherent and showing his age. Okay, it's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy, but like I told you guys, okay, what the White House and Democrats are scared to death of when it comes to Biden is him having a Mitch McConnell moment, right? Him having a Mitch McConnell moment, which is going to be inevitable at this point. They're going to try whatever they can to avoid that happening. Now, meanwhile, we have Trump, who was in Iowa, okay, and some mainstream liberal media reports are saying that, oh, Trump was booed. He wasn't welcomed in Iowa, right? As if he's not dominating the polls. And even outlets like CNN are saying that, yeah, well, Trump was welcome in Iowa and he was cheered and chants broke out. And
here in Ames, Iowa, the day all about college football, the big rivalry game between Iowa State and University of Iowa. But for the presidential candidates running in this first of the nation caucus state, it is for them a political opportunity. Both Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis were at this game. Both sat inside the stadium. DeSantis sitting with the crowd, sitting beside Iowa's popular Republican governor, and Donald Trump sat in a box, a stadium box. I want you to listen as what the crowd was saying, how they looked as the former president left the stadium. You can hear the chanting, you can hear the loud applause. This is imagery that the Trump campaign certainly wants Iowa voters to see. Now, ahead of all of this, going inside the stadium, both DeSantis and Trump were tailgating. Trump stopped at a tailgating party hosted by a fraternity. We saw him flipping burgers, signing footballs, even tossing some of those footballs into the crowd. Ron DeSantis also was tailgating, but he focused his comments on the political, saying that he's visited the state of Iowa more times than Trump, far more times, a total of 8 visits, and that he has visited more than half of Iowa's 99 counties.
And I'm actually starting to hear a lot of people saying, because you're showing up, I'm supporting you, because that's the way you got to do it. Iowans don't want the campaign to be about the past or to be about the candidates' issues. They want it to be about their future and the future of this country. And that's what I represent.
More than 60,000 were at this game today. A game, again, focused on football. A lot of students say they sure did enjoy the spectacle of it, but it was really the game that was their emphasis. And as far as the end score, Iowa topping Iowa State 20-13. Kyung Law, CNN, Ames, Iowa.
yeah, so while Biden is stumbling and fumbling through a press conference, embarrassing the United States on the world stage, you have Trump getting massive applause and praise and cheers from people in Iowa. Again, the difference could not be more stark in regards to the stock of Trump versus the stock of Biden. Trump's stock is skyrocketing, right? It is mooning, okay? And Biden's is going into the tank, and press conferences like this don't help, right? It doesn't help when you see a guy who is supposed to be president of the United States literally admitting, okay, that, hey, I'm just doing what my handlers tell me to do. I'm not running anything. I'm not doing anything. And then his handlers proceed to cut off his mic while answering the question because clearly he was about to go off the rails, right? He had no idea where he was at. he was ready to take a nap. Okay, the Sleepy Joe nickname sticks. There's a reason why people say that, because he's so old he got to take a nap. He's probably experiencing some issues with the difference in time, considering how he was in Vietnam. He was on the other side of the world, right? So again, this guy probably was ready to go to sleep. Okay, he doesn't have any energy. There's no way they're running this guy on the campaign trail. There's no way. Democrats cannot run this guy. They can't. No way. So again, I personally think that they're scared to death of Biden having a Mitch McConnell moment. And this is why they have these guardrails in place to essentially stop him from embarrassing himself. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I really don't. I think that this man is going to be replaced. They're gonna replace him. They're gonna have to. There's no way they can run this guy as the nominee. It's not happening. So again, the media is going to be talking about this more. This is stuff that's going to be covered because there's a lot of pressure on Democrats to get rid of this guy. And again, press conferences like this don't help. Again, if you have to cut off the man's mic, if you got to end the press conference because he's going off the rails, he's announcing that it's time for him to go to bed, he needs to go to sleep, that's a bad sign. It really is. Okay. So hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.